Susie Wiles, born Susan Summerall on May 14, 1957, in New Jersey, is an American political consultant renowned for her strategic acumen within the Republican Party. She is the daughter of Pat Summerall, a former NFL placekicker and celebrated sportscaster. Wiles earned a Bachelor of Arts in English from the University of Maryland, College Park. Wiles's political career commenced with roles in Congressman Jack Kemp's office and Ronald Reagan's 1980 presidential campaign. She later became the first female chief of staff to Jacksonville Mayor John Delaney, significantly influencing the city's governance. Her expertise was pivotal in Rick Scott's successful 2010 gubernatorial campaign in Florida. In 2011, she briefly managed John Huntsman Jr.'s presidential campaign. Wiles also served as a senior advisor for Ron DeSantis's 2018 gubernatorial campaign, though she later described this experience as the biggest mistake of her career. Wiles's association with Donald Trump began as co-chair of his 2016 campaign in Florida, contributing to his victory in the state. She continued her support as co-chair of Trump's 2024 presidential campaign, playing a crucial role in his electoral success. On November 7, 2024, President-elect Trump appointed Wiles, the Ice Maiden, as White House Chief of Staff, making her the first woman to hold this position in U.S. history.
Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here. Come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The Ice Maiden, we call her the Ice Maiden. Come here, Chris. Come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background.
Andrew Smith, a political analyst, talks about Susie's historical appointment.
Let's now invite Andrew Smith, political analyst at the University of New Hampshire. Andrew, good morning and thank you for your time here on CTV News Channel. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So talk to us about this historic appointment, Susie Wiles. What more do we know about her?
Well, Susie Wiles is a longtime Republican political activist in many ways. She started off in the Reagan administration long ago. She's worked on many, for a couple congressmen on Capitol Hill, and most importantly, Jack Kemp, who was a vice presidential candidate at one time, known as a free trade advocate. So she comes from this kind of open background that way. She also worked for John Huntsman. John Huntsman, as you know, ran for president in 2012, and she worked as one of his campaign staff on that. So she's got a kind of a wide background in more mainstream Republicans in her past, but recently she's worked for Florida Republicans Rick Scott and Ron DeSantis in their election campaigns and their successful election campaigns. What she's known for is being somebody who is very much under control, controls the message, controls her candidate, which obviously is a difficult thing to do with Donald Trump.
In his victory speech that night, he labeled her as Ice Maiden Susie Wiles. I mean, if you could elaborate a little more, because I also understand, I was reading and listening, that she has apparently laid some conditions down for Donald Trump before accepting that position. Do we know what those conditions really look like?
I don't think we know, but it's probably going to be that she listens to him and then she has access to him and she has access to those other people who have access to him. Mm-hmm. The chief of staff, the White House chief of staff, is really the second most powerful person in Washington because they really control all of the things that the president does. Obviously, the president can do what they want if they go around it, but on a day-to-day basis, the chief of staff really controls the messaging coming out of the White House. So her jobs are going to be to control leaks, control, in both in a good way and a bad way, control the leaks they want to get out, and control the leaks that they don't want to get out, to help advise the president on all appointments, advise the president on how to manage things within the White House and manage those people that he hires. So she's really the kind of the bottleneck, for so to speak, for access to the president.
Interesting. Yeah.
Susie Wiles, a veteran Republican strategist who ran successful campaigns for Florida's last two governors and headed Team Trump's Florida operations, joined This Week in South Florida to discuss the strategies she employed to secure Florida for Trump in the 2016 and 2020 elections. With her extensive experience in Florida politics, Wiles played a pivotal role in helping the Trump campaign build strong grassroots support and secure key swing state victories. Her insights into voter engagement, messaging, and coalition building have made her one of the most influential figures in modern GOP politics.
Going into Tuesday's election, some polls in Florida had Donald Trump trailing Joe Biden by 2 to 3 points. Outlook was not completely rosy for the president, who had won Florida in 2016 by a narrow margin, little more than 1%, 113,000 votes.
Well, the president won Florida Tuesday night, and by more than 3%, tripling his spread from 2016. That is a landslide by Florida standards. The woman largely credited with making that happen is Susie Wiles, veteran GOP strategist who ran successful campaigns for Florida's last two governors and headed Team Trump's Florida operations. Right there live with us from Ponte Vedra Beach. Good morning, Susie.
Susie, welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
We are so glad to have you. So go through it, if you would. How did you structure this winning campaign? I mean, you are really a political pro. You micro-targeted, you looked at certain segments of the population, appealed to them, advertised to them, and you reached them. I mean, they voted for President Trump in numbers unseen. Just one example, it appears that 11 or 12% of black voters in Florida voted for President Trump. Who would have thought that? Probably you.
Actually 13%, which doubles the percentage he received in 2016. We knew going into this election that it really was time to change the Republican coalition. The traditional Republican voter coalition just simply can't, I don't believe, elect Republicans any longer. So beginning to bring into the tent a larger number of Hispanic voters, certainly making it palatable for African Americans to think. We targeted, we've talked to, we looked at vastly different voter groups than we had before. We talked to them, we understood what was important to them, we honored their traditions, and I'm happy to say, proud to say that it worked.
You used words that are so interesting just now. Make it palatable. Did you want to make it palatable, or did you want to energize certain groups? And what was really, this is kind of like a double trouble here. The Hispanic vote in Miami-Dade, the Latino vote in Florida is hugely diverse. And yet,
it is.
Some of the most Democratic-leaning parts of that diverse electorate voted for Donald Trump. How it was much more than palatable. What did you do to get that energy?
Where the Hispanic vote is concerned, people, I think, often make a mistake by talking about the Hispanic vote. It is a very diverse group. Colombians, Venezuelans, Nicaraguans, Cubans, of course, but there are many groups of Hispanics, and to homogenize them, you do it at your own peril. There are certain commonalities, of course, but there are also very distinct differences. So to take time to understand them, to honor their separate but also common heritage is important. And the president's campaign did that. And I think that a winning coalition will have to do that every time.
Known for her strategic prowess and low-profile approach, Wiles has been described as tough, smart, innovative, universally admired and respected. Her appointment signals a commitment to a disciplined and professional administration. Wiles was previously married to Republican consultant Lanny Wiles, with whom she has 2 daughters. She resides in Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, and is a member of the Episcopal Church. Susie Wiles' appointment as White House Chief of Staff marks a significant step in shaping the incoming administration's tone and direction. With her extensive experience in political strategy and proven loyalty to President Trump, we can expect a disciplined and results-driven approach to governance. Her role is likely to emphasize bridging the gap between the executive office and Congress, strengthening the administration's policy initiatives, and ensuring seamless communication with stakeholders. As the first woman to hold this position, Wiles also brings a historic dimension to the role, inspiring future generations of female leaders in politics. The focus will now be on how her leadership style and strategic expertise will impact the administration's priorities and the broader political landscape.